Wait, let's
Thank
give
you,
it
Mary.
an applause for Terry.
Badev. Badev in Armenian means hello, welcome. So you guys know me as Cherie King, but my married name is Cherie Bozigian because my husband is Armenian. I never use that name around here because the students cannot remember it or pronounce it. So I didn't know anything about Armenian culture until I met my husband 39 years ago. And now I feel like I'm an expert in Armenian song and dance along with him. His job is to preserve Armenian dance and culture. That's what he does. He plays music, he teaches dance, and he's done this all over the world, wherever there are Armenians, and they're all over the world. And we'll talk about a little bit about the history of them today. I don't want to get too political, but we will give you a short, brief history of where they've been and what they've done. And then I'm going to show you some DVDs. One is of a dance I choreographed for our spring dance concert in 2010, which was an Armenian dance. And I'm going to show that first because it has the brief history and a slideshow of the Armenians' tragedy. And then I'm going to dance for you. I'm going to do a women's dance, and I'll talk a little bit about their different types of dancing. And then I'll show you some footage I shot in Armenia. We go to Armenia every year. So since 1997, we've been going. Kind of after all their troubles were over, we started to go. And I'll talk about that too a little bit. And then if you guys if I can get a few of you up, I'd like to teach you a simple dance. Anybody willing to maybe try? Okay, good. So let me just show this video first because it's going to talk about the Armenian genocide, which began in 1915. So in 2 years, it's going to be the 100-year memorial of it. And come on in, welcome. It really began in the 1890s. And most of Armenia, if you look at here, ancient Armenia, really most of it belongs in Turkey nowadays. But this is the Republic of Armenia. It's only about 10% of the original size of the country. So the Armenians are really ancient people. They go back at least 3,000 years. And they were a great kingdom at one point, expanding all the way across from Turkey, the western part of Turkey, all the way through to here. But of course, that area was rife with conflict. There was lots of invasions. They had to defend their land, and eventually they were conquered by the Ottoman Turks. So the Turkish name, the names you see here are the Armenian names, the ancient Armenian names of the cities, but you won't probably find these names on the Turkish map because they've changed all the names of the cities. So, because Armenians are the first Christian nation, they adopted Christianity in 301 AD. They are surrounded by Muslims, and this caused the conflicts. So you can see Armenia is bordered by Turkey, Iran, Azerbaijan, and the only country that's not Muslim is Georgia up here to the north. So they, of course, had their problems because they were second-class citizens under the Ottoman rule. And the Armenians didn't take it sitting down. They were revolutionaries in a way. And so they felt the wrath of the government. There were some massacres in 1890. And then the worst of it started in 1915 during World War I. And at that point, they say approximately 1.5 million Armenians were slaughtered, mostly through death marches. They were forced to go into the desert without food or water. They were either left there starving or they were executed there. So, so let me just play this DVD. It will show you some images, except I don't know how to do it. I just click on it. Show you some images. But then you'll see a dance that I choreographed that kind of shows the resilient nature of the Armenians. That says on April 24th, 1915, the first genocide of the 20th century had begun. Can you guys read it? Is it big enough? Okay. So these are our students here. That dance is called the Fortress Dance, or Bertbar in Armenian. It represents their history of conflict. So that would be an example of a stage choreography. The Armenian Republic was part of the Soviet Union for like 70 years. In 1991, they gained their independence, but they were very much influenced by the Soviet system of ballet training and folk training, like under Moiseyev. So they take their folk dances. A lot of steps in there were original. They were not from any one region in particular. That was a mishmash, and they clean them up, and they really work on the staging and the choreography. So that would be an example of the kind of stuff an ensemble would do in Armenia. But my husband grew up in Fresno, California, which is one of the biggest communities of Armenians in the US when they first started immigrating here after World War I. And Fresno was a big one, Detroit, Michigan, New York, Boston, those are the big hubs. And now today it's Glendale, California, which has the biggest population of Armenians outside of Armenia and Russia. So what I was going to say, he researches the original dances that the immigrants brought back in 1920s, so on. He remembers those old people that were old when he was young, and he has retained over 300 original dances. And what he does, what we do actually, is every year we go back to Armenia, and we compare what the people, the immigrants that came from Western Turkey into Armenia, what dances they've kept from their villages, and we compare and contrast to see what has changed, what has remained. Because each village, if you look over here, has their own dance. They have their own way of doing it, they have their own variations, and usually it was one dance per village because they didn't mix and mingle too much. So it's very interesting. He has gained a lot of notoriety over there now with their institute, the Teaching Institute and the Choreographic Institute over there. They recognize Before, they were very hesitant to say that these dances in America were true or had any value, but now they've come to recognize that there's approximately 10 million Armenians around the world in the diaspora, in probably every country you can imagine. China, my husband goes there a lot, Japan, they're everywhere, South America. The only place I don't know maybe is Africa, but there's probably some there too, you never know. So, so there's two types of traditional dancing. There's the line dancing, which is called shurjbar, and then there's the solo dancing called menabar, which is usually done both men and women without touching and improvised. And you'll see this a lot at parties, at weddings. They'll just get up and dance spontaneously. And then there's those traditional line dances that they dance together in a group, that the steps are set, they're hundreds of years old, and they do those together. And I would love to teach you one of those dances today, if I can get some volunteers up here. I am going to do right now for you one of the solo dances. It is a woman's style dance. It's called the jaharak, and that means spinning wheel dance. So some of the dances come from their work environment, comes from where they live and the topography, sometimes from the shepherds who tend the goats and the sheeps. And this one is for the spinning wheel, where they spin the thread, and they've taken it and made a dance out of it. That's a lot of folk customs and folk dance comes from their everyday work. So I need the music from that one, number 10. The costume I'm wearing comes from the Republic of Karabakh, which is over here. There's been a war over it with Azerbaijan. It's a little segment right here that's been traditionally Armenian, and Armenians want it back as an independent republic. And so far, there's kind of a truce on that. The reason things were carved up kind of weird over there is because of Stalin. He kind of redistributed these areas, and he made that part of Azerbaijan, although more Armenians live there than Azerbaijanis, and so there's been a war over this. In 1988, I believe there was a big earthquake in Armenia, up in this region, and it devastated, 10 years later when I went, there still wasn't rebuilt. It was really difficult, because this is all villages here. And then with the war over Karabakh was, right around that same time, they had a blockade. You see that they're landlocked, and they could not get any goods or anything. They had to chop down all their trees for firewood. It was a really bad time. Is that a question?
I was wondering, are there a lot of Armenians that now live in Turkey?
Not so many anymore. There are a few, but pretty much they keep low-key, and there's not hardly any, except maybe a few in the bigger cities. Istanbul, there's some. Up here in the north, there were a lot of, near the Black Sea, there were a lot of Pontic Greeks and Hemshen Armenians, and they were also either forced to move or convert, or if they did convert, some of them secretly practiced their religion. And so the Pontic Greeks, along with the Armenians up there, really hold their cultural traditions very dearly, and they've been starting to kind of reinvigorate the people to remember that part of their history. What do we have? So this is the spinning wheel dance. So the hand gestures, pulling the thread, spinning, are all taken from true Armenian styling. The hand in Armenian for women is called the yernik, which is based on the profile of a deer, one of the deers that run through that area. And so even though this all looks very balletic, the traditional way to dance for women was this way. Now, of course, they cleaned it up with the ballet training and everything, and they're giving much more port de bras to make it a little more gorgeous. But I'll show you, if we have time, a little footage I shot of the older people in Armenia dancing the improvisational solo dancing, and they're going to be using the wrist circles and the yernik position as well. So the traditional dance that I wanted to teach you is called Kochari. It's the national dance of the Armenian people. It's one of the oldest dances. Kochari is derived from a goat, a type of goat that lives in the mountains. Armenia is a very mountainous region except for one small portion around Mount Ararat, which unfortunately is in Turkey for them, but they can see it. Right in here, there's a nice valley where Mount Ararat is supposedly where Noah's Ark landed, and they're always still looking for it up there. But in the valley, they grow grapes, and they're noted for their Armenian brandy. But everything else is very mountainous. And so they have a lot of shepherds still today. Goats were a big part of their environment. So this dance, Kochari, they trace it back to the root meaning of guch, which is this type of goat. And all the steps that are done in this dance, there's lots of variations and different ways to do it throughout the region of Armenia, but it's all based on the gait of that goat and these little quick steps that the goat will do. Because I guess when you're a shepherd, you don't have a lot of things to do but look at your goats and make up dances about them. So that's the one I want to teach, but let me just show you, if we could do one more, I hate to bother you, but one more DVD. If we can just do one little section. I want to show you this group of dancers that comes from one of the villages in Armenia called Lernabat, and it's a group of dancers that are 60 years of age and older. So they are continuing to dance and preserve their costume, their music, their songs. You'll see them dance and sing together. This is like true village stuff. This is not choreographed for the stage, professional dancers, but they have a lot of professional groups in Armenia. But there's also, I've been to many of these villages all over. Okay, so I need to go to the menu. Okay, go to scene selection too. This one. That one. So here's the traditional Armenian folk instruments. These are zurnas. They're like a reed, kind of pre-clarinet type of instrument. Very loud and very ear-splitting. And the drum is called the dahol, two-sided drum played with their hands. Here's the 60 to 80-year-olds dancing some of their really simple dances in their costumes. You see the women's costumes similar to mine. They traditionally wear veils. I'm not really sure why, but I think it comes from the Middle Ages. And that's continued. There is one older lady at the end, but here you see a little bit of solo dancing. I believe that's his son and his mother dancing together. There's one older lady at the end who just has this enthusiasm, and she always wanted to be in the camera, so you'll see her. So here's an example of one of their singing dances where they just sing while they dance. There's no musical accompaniment, and there's quite a few of them. This is the lady I'm talking about over here on the end. And every time we go to the village, they're so hospitable to us. They'll come and make dinner for us. They'll go kill a goat for us. They'll do anything, and they don't have much, but they're so willing to share. There she is. Another sample of, this is kind of a fighting dance, one of their battles, if you will. And then I have on the same DVD a professional company doing this dance, and you'll see a great difference in what these original people can do and what the trained dancers do. So watch, he's going to try to pick them up, I think. There we go, yeah. So the two men there, one is my husband, the other one, this gentleman, is the authority in dance in Armenia that we go and visit every year. And so he takes us to these villages. He knows where to go. And he goes, he teaches. And this is after we were there, we went out to an outside area, and they killed a goat for us. We sang, we danced, we had some good times singing. They sang their patriotic songs, and I was doing all the filming. There they are killing the goat. I couldn't really look at that one too much. And they put the head up on the rocks. They have such pride in their heritage, and I think a lot of it is stirred up by the fact that the Turkish government denies that there was a genocide, and that still is really a huge problem for the Armenians that they can't ever forget. I think every Armenian family has some story of losing someone in their family to the massacres. My husband's family was really quite lucky. His family emigrated from Turkey earlier in the 1800s to this city, Leninakan, which was part of Armenia. So they were not touched by the massacres over there because they only did it in Turkey. So he doesn't have any direct, but some extended family members, stories of women being taken into harems and staying there for a while until they were released. So here's the example of the solo dancing, the improvisational style that I was talking about, that they just do. There's certain steps they do, but it's all up to them and their interaction with their partners. So, okay. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? Who's brave that wants to get up and learn a dance? Really easy. I'm going to teach you the kochari. No? Come on. Yes, thank you. Anybody else? We got one. One guinea pig. It's not hard. We get hired a lot to teach Armenian dances at weddings because the younger generation that's getting married, they don't necessarily know the dances, so we'll go. And I did a job last week or 2 weeks ago. And they were all like you. They didn't know anything, and half of them were not Armenian. And they got up and did it. But we need a little wine, I guess, or something. It's not hard. What's your name? Erica. Erica. Let's just hold hands right now, Erica. Oh, thank you. So go on this side so you can watch my feet, because we're going to be traveling to the right. Come on up. Come on up. Let's move over. So this is the dance that comes from the goat. Okay, and it's the national dance of the Armenian people. But we're going to do the simplest version, not all the fancy goat work. Okay, you start with the right foot. You step to the side, you cross behind, you step to the side and touch the left foot next to the right. No weight on it. Then we're going to dip and double bounce. It looks like this. Left foot goes ahead, you bend, and you bounce, bounce, bend, and lift your right foot up so it's free. So that's the whole dance. And then you start from the beginning. So you go, let's back up a little bit. To the right, you step right, cross behind, right, you touch the left foot, you dip, you bounce, bounce. So you bounce on your heels 2 times with your legs straight. No, just your heels bounce. Plie, bounce, bounce, dip, lift your right foot up, because that's the one you start with. Side and cross behind. Side and touch. So travel in a circle going to the right. So our left foot's free. And we go dip, and you bounce, bounce, dip, and lift your right. Right and behind, right and touch. So stay facing center this way. Yeah, so your body stays facing center the whole time. So imagine we're in a big circle. We only have 5 people. And you dip and bounce, bounce, dip. And now stay facing the middle. Go to the right, go behind. Right, you touch your left. You dip and you bounce, bounce, dip and lift. Good. Right and behind. Right, you touch the left. Dip and you're getting it. Very good. Now, there's one thing that you have to do. And that is put your hands together like this. We're going to clasp our fingers. This is a very friendly dance. You go shoulder to shoulder. And it's like a wall. They have these wall dances. So when we dip and we bounce, bounce, we'll feel the whole line dip and bouncing together. So if someone makes a mistake, I'll know who it is. I can feel it down, which one down there, I'll know exactly who made a mistake. No, because once we feel it together, we're going to be a unit. So let's start with our right foot and take small steps. To the right and behind, you right and touch the left. You dip and you bounce, bounce, dip, lift your right. A little faster, right and behind, right, you touch the left. You dip and you bounce, bounce, dip, then lift, and right and behind, right and touch, dip and a bounce, bounce. Look how good they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dip and a bounce, bounce. One more time, a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Down and a bounce, bounce, down and you lift. Okay, so that goes on for a while. And I lied, there is one more part. There's one more part. So this is like, if you go to any Armenian doing, this is the dance you will do. We're going to just join hands from there. And we're going to run 3 steps starting with your right foot, and we're going to go in line of direction. Run, 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 kick your left. Step, kick your right. Run, run, step, kick left, step, kick right. Run, run, step, kick left. This one's easy, right? But it's fast. It's going to go like this. So you can jump a little, kick, kick. 1, 2, kick, kick. So that speeds up. So we start with the slow, bouncy one. Let's do it with music. Come on, Mary. Do it with music. Right, you guys? I want to do it with music. Come on, do it with music. Come on, it's more fun with music. Oh, Mary's leaving. Okay. Okay, so starting with the right foot. Right and behind, right, touch, dip, bounce, bounce, dip, up. Good. Dip, bounce, bounce, dip. Good. Left with the bounce, bounce, lift your right, right. Good. Dip and a bounce, bounce, dip, up. Dip, bounce, bounce, dip, up. Kochari, alelele, kochari, sason. That's the patriarchal part. See, now you're starting to feel it? I can feel you all joining with me in that rhythm, that bounce and the bounce, bounce. Yeah. Okay, pretty soon we're going to go to that faster part. Remember that other part? One more time on this sequence. Okay, here it comes. Run, run, step, kick, step, kick. You're good. Oh, I thought it was going to be over. Sorry. One more round. Yay! Bravo. Thanks for being a good sport. It's actually very good exercise for you. You lose a lot of weight. So I think I've said everything I wanted to say, unless you guys have any questions for me. Yes?
How do you fly?
Oh, no. Generally, the fastest way to go is LA to Moscow, in Moscow. But because we fly United, we go this really convoluted way, changing 3 or 4 times so we could get mileage.
So most girls do very close in the two countries?
Yeah, there's so many Armenians that have moved out of Armenia because of the bad economic situation and moved to Russia that the Russian president says, we have more Armenians than you do in your country. There's a lot have left. There's about 3 million living there now, they say, but I think there's less because the job situation is pretty bad. Their average, if they make $100 a month, they're actually doing good. A lot of them do less than that. So that transition from the Soviet economy to capitalism is still a struggle. And the older generation probably is never going to get it. It's the young people now that are going through college that may have hope to bring that situation out better for them. Yes?
Are there any Armenian festivals in Glendale?
Yes! Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot to bring it. There's lots of them. We just had one in Costa Mesa at St. Mary's Armenian Church last weekend where they had dancing like this. My husband's orchestra played, and it was a 2-day affair, but they're all over. They're with the churches, so you have to kind of check out. But Glendale for sure, because they got several churches up there in Glendale. And usually in the summertime or around this time they happen. So, anything else? Yes?
Are there Armenians still in Iran?
Oh yes, lots. In all the Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, huge populations still.
Are they allowed to practice Christianity in Iran?
To a certain extent, yes. I don't know if they do it secretly or...
I'm from Iran.
Oh, they do.
Yes, we do have a big population of Armenians,
Yes.
and they are allowed to
To practice.
practice the religion. As we have a big crowd of Jewish people, okay, in fact, they are in the parliament, okay? Unlike what some people might think, everybody is free. The bottom line is, when it comes to government, most governments are not with enemies, right? I think. But that's the size of the people. Generally speaking, they are free to do anything as long as you don't talk about the government or the policy.
Are you talking about
This is the truth.
Armenia or
Everybody.
Iran?
You're talking about the
Armenians in Iran. that
in
would
Iran.
us.
Yes, yes. Every religious group is free in Iran.
Rita Hari had an interview with a Jewish member of parliament who talked about this very
Exactly.
thing on last Sunday.
Yeah, I think even in all the Muslim countries, they're still practicing their religion and carrying on their culture. In Soviet Armenia, I mean, there was no religion, but the church somehow survived. Their ancient church is called Echmiadzin, and it's still there, and it survived through that period. And now, excuse me, people are now going back to their religion, which was, most people fell away from it at that time. But in the diaspora, the church is one of the elements that kept their culture alive. That's where people went to keep their language alive, their music, and their dance. So it was their big unifying force for the Armenians, and continues to be. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for those who danced with me. Really appreciate that.